Today I'm going to talk about 3 essential public speaking tips in 3 minutes. I learned these 3 tips in my college public speaking class. These 3 tips help me improve my speeches and become a more confident speaker over the course of a semester. My first tip is do not write your speech out word for word. It is very hard to listen to. When you're just reading it off of a paper, it is not enjoyable for anyone, especially the audience members. It sounds very memorized and very, very, very boring. Instead, tell a story. It sounds way more natural, and it's like you're actually talking to the audience, which engages them even more. I suggest having some notes just in case you forget, just little keywords, so if you forget, you can look down, remember what you were going to say, then look up and tell the audience. Just do not write it out. My second tip is make eye contact with the audience. It helps connect the audience even more. If you're scared to make eye contact with them, just look over the audience's head and focus on something like a wall. It gives the perception that you're actually looking at them even though you aren't. Also, make sure you talk to everyone in the room. If the room is this big and you're only focusing on this section of the room, all these people over here are going to feel like you forgot about them. So make sure that you look around and talk to the entire audience. My third and final tip is talk about something you're passionate about. It is way easier to talk about something you care about. You'll be more enthusiastic about the topic, which will engage your audience even more. Even if your topic isn't something that they're interested in, they will be more inclined to listen to you if you sound passionate and excited. Speaking in front of a large group of people can be hard and awkward. I remember my first day of college in my public speaking class, we had to give an impromptu speech. It was about our lives before college and everything about us, so I was very nervous because I was in a room full of people I didn't know. It ended up being my turn, and I got up and I started talking about my life, like where I worked, where I was from, like everything. And then I started talking about my family, and I said how I have a mom and a dad and a brother. And then usually I would start talking about my pets. Well, unfortunately, my 2 cats had died recently that past summer. So I didn't really think it through because it was so natural for me to talk about my pets. So I go, I have a mom and I have a dad and I have a brother, and I had 2 cats, but they both died. And everybody in the room looked at me like, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody in college is going to know me as the dead cat girl. Like, this is my new reputation. And I was so embarrassed about it. But turns out nobody even remembered it. And I was just overreacting the whole situation. But in conclusion, these tips are important in every speech because it makes the audience feel connected to the speaker. If you use these 3 tips in every speech, your audience members will be genuinely interested in your speech. If you follow these tips and are confident, you will deliver a much better speech.